Powered by Riverside FM.
You are now listening to the Sooner Surge.
Clear out! Clear out!
All right, guys, welcome back to the Sooner Surge. A lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about a little basketball, but we're going to start with football. And in specifically, we're going to talk about the wide receiver coaching situation, as well as some portal stuff. Brody, you got some news, I think, just to get us started on that.
So starting with the wide receiver situation with the coach, we don't have any more news on who's going to be the coach, except for the fact that we kind of hearing that Emmett Jones, the wide receiver coach from Texas Tech, is in Norman today. He's been in Norman since 3:21 p.m. yesterday. That's kind of what we're seeing. And the Sooners have been very aggressive with wide receivers. Obviously, yesterday, Marvin Mims declared for the draft, but they've been pursuing Tyron Broden from Bowling Green, 6'7". They have Xavier Weaver on campus today. Anthony Kidd from Michigan is also on campus. So they've been pretty aggressive when it comes to receivers, and now it kind of seems like they might have a receiver coach to go along with that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy to think because I want to say a month ago, if you had asked us, we all would have said Washington would still be the wide receiver coach. And I think we all can agree to that because we heard that Kelly didn't have interest in the job. Obviously, the other guys we were going after, too, we didn't know about very much. So, and then this Broden kid, he sounds like a stud, a 6'7" wide receiver. That's crazy. I mean, wasn't the guy we played against Florida State, was he 6'6" or 6'7"?
6'6". Broden is the tallest receiver in FBS.
Hey,
Jackson.
Go ahead, Hunter.
Jackson. A month ago, we were all talking about Samples or Malcolm Kelly as wide receiver coach. What are you talking about?
No one thought it would be LD Washington.
Yeah, no one. I mean, I was starting to think now that it's going to be Washington as it's
go back like 2 weeks then. 2 weeks.
Well, maybe a couple weeks ago, because when we thought maybe they had passed on Kelly and then Samples wasn't a thing, we thought maybe it could be. If that's what you're saying now.
First off, we never passed on Kelly, Jay. Kelly passed on us is what it would be. OU is not passing on Malcolm Kelly. The only reason we thought it was Washington is because nothing had been said really officially. But, I mean, Brent Venables, it's obvious. It's pretty clear now with some things that you can see on Twitter and some other things that Washington's not going to be the guy. I would say probably 95% Washington's not going to be in Norman next year.
Yeah. What did you think of his tweet though about never flinch?
I don't know, but
to me that means that saying it has to do with tough times or situations when you're gonna have to dodge some things that are happening. Obviously, some changes coming in his life, and he's not gonna flinch. He's gonna move on because he is moving on. He's not gonna be in Norman.
It really sounds like he's going to move on. Just the way Twitter followers have indicated, it sounds like he's going to move on to a particular place in Western Kentucky.
Right, Western Kentucky's, and one thing that may make some sense there, and it does seem like a very big demotion or downgrade to go to Western Kentucky, but the guy there, was it Hawkins?
He went to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, he went to Georgia Tech, but he was the co-offensive coordinator and the receivers coach. So to me, that is a step up as far as responsibility, step down with organization, but he's also from Missouri, grew up there, was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, not far from Kentucky. There are some things that makes me think that may be something that is enticing to him. If he's not going to, and you're not going to want to be somewhere you're not wanted. And it doesn't seem like Brent Venables is sold on Washington being the guy, and maybe even not an analyst. Don't know. Can't speak for BV. But the bigger question is, how many guys do we need at receiver? Because maybe one tops, guys.
Wow.
No. You need to have at least 12 guys in the wide receiver room.
You got to have at least
8. Yeah, you need to have like 10 to 12 guys and at least 7 guys that you can rely on to come on the field.
Right now, Jackson, name 12 receivers on OU's team last year. Go.
I can't because there's not 12 guys.
How many do you need, Jackson?
I said between 10 and 12.
Name 10 from last year, Jackson.
Okay. Let's see. Do you really want me to sit here and do this?
Yes.
All right. Mims, Weiss, Stoops, Farouk, Bunkley, Shelton, Hester, Gibson, Anderson, West, Darby, Freeman. There's 11.
That's pretty good, Jackson.
If you're looking at it right now, and Jeremy says we don't need more than one receiver, I think that is outrageous. Right now, if you're looking at it, you can pencil in Jalil Farouk as a starter. You can pencil in Drake Stoops. After that, we're thinking maybe Nick Anderson, Jaden Gibson. After that, you got J.J. Hester, LV Bunkley Shelton, DJ Graham, Gavin Freeman, Jaquarius Pettaway. Anderson, Gibson, Keon Brown. They have not played much. You don't have much experience. And guess what? The more depth, the better. No way you're going to sit here and say, oh, well,
no,
I only want one tops. If there's two receivers wanting to go to OU, are you only taking one?
Hey, first off, Brody, no, I would take as many as I can get. But the problem is, and Jay, I'm sure is going to talk about the portal. When you bring these veteran guys in, there's guys going to jump ship, okay? You're not going to – you don't need 10 to 12 studs. Petway's a superstar. Keon Brown could play probably immediately. You guys said it on here.
You're not even rolling early.
Anderson's going to play. Farouk's going to play. Stoops is going to play.
Gibson's going to play.
Shelton played this year. These
Okay.
guys
Hey,
are
who
going
was-
to come in and sit.
Hunter, what were you going to say?
Who's the last transfer wide receiver we had that had a really big role?
I'll tell you.
Woods, baby.
No, it was the guy from Fresno, Jalen Saunders.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's been a long time.
And hey, Hunter, that's a great point. Hunter, that's a great point because that's kind of what I was talking about with the whole transfer portal. I haven't said it yet, but it really bothers me because if you look off last year's team that OU went and got in the portal, they got all these guys, two at max made an impact. One really made an impact. I would say two, you could say maybe had an impact. But these guys that you go to get, and I'm just going to use this guy as an example. I don't know a whole lot about him, but say this Broden kid, okay? You're going after guys from MAC schools. These guys weren't recruited to OU in the first place. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're not great, but I'm saying to go make an immediate impact to OU, to me, the portal, this is my personal opinion, so do not attack me on this. You can attack me if you want. I don't really give a care. But the portal to me should be go get guys that are going to make an immediate impact. Will you let me talk?
When you say that,
stop. They're going to make an immediate impact. If not, I don't know. I don't think you use the portal for developmental guys.
So
that's just me.
You're talking about immediate impact as in Deshaun McCullough, Trace Ford, Austin Stogner guys, right? Those guys are going to make immediate impact.
Yeah.
So you got guys on the portal right now that we're attacking that would make an immediate impact. I don't get your point.
I don't think you need three receivers. They're not all going to be studs.
How do you not know they're going to not make an immediate impact?
Hey, he does have a point on the two receivers we got last year. Saw the field like a handful of times.
Yeah, but that's
J.J. Hester and LV Bunkley Shelton.
Also, it gets to a point where you're going to need guys in the room just to have guys. Now, that's why you don't get a couple guys from like these MAC conferences, the American Conference. Maybe they were pretty good receivers on their team, but they're not going to play here. But you need them in the room.
That's understandable.
Because injuries do happen quite a bit. It's a common thing.
And I agree with that, Jackson. But we're not going to get now what Brody said. Deshaun McCulloughs of the world, Trace Fords. Who else was mentioned?
Stogner.
Look, these guys are proven and they're in a position we needed. Anyone who looks at OU's receiving core and sees Farouk, you know Stoops isn't not going to leave the field. Nick Anderson was highly touted. We've heard from many people he's the guy on campus. Jalen Gibson was no slouch in high school. He's paid his time. These guys can't look and say you can't compare that to a Trace Ford situation or Deshaun McCullough or anything like that. If we're going to get someone, Jackson's right. It needs to be someone out of the MAC or something like that. The guy from Michigan, no shot at him coming here and playing.
I agree.
Yeah, and then
Broden's a guy that can play, though. I think Broden.
He slots in on your two deep as a second stringer.
Yeah, I think Broden's a guy.
He's not going to come be a second stringer, Brody.
He might come
next year,
if you have Bowling Green, you're a starter. Would you go to OU to be a second stringer, or would you stay at Bowling Green to be a starter?
I would go somewhere else I can start because he's got many people after him, dude.
Where's he going to start?
You don't know where he's not. You don't know if he's not going to start at OU. Nobody knows.
If he does start,
you never know.
Hey, going forward though, OU needs to go after JUCO players better, especially at the receiver position. I don't know if you guys remember, but our last Heisman finalist at wide receiver came from the JUCO ranks, D.D. Westbrook.
Yeah.
Good point.
When you talk about we're talking about the wide receiver room, I don't necessarily see like a lack of depth. I think you just got to see like some of these guys who maybe don't have a ton of experience. They just got to step up. That's the way I look at it. But at the same time, I don't think you turn down any potential depth. There are more guys that can come in and bring competition and push those guys who haven't played that much to step up.
I understand, but my whole thing is this on the portal, and it bothers me. You see guys, and I'm the guy from Michigan has hardly any catches or done anything. And when he says he's coming to OU, puts a little emoji that he's the navigation thing that he's in Norman, and you just see all these people eyeball emoji. It's like, guys, hold your horses here, okay? We're not getting the next Jerry Rice. I mean, some of these people that are on Twitter are like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's like, hold down for a minute.
Yeah,
he hasn't played much.
I agree with what you're saying, but there's a lot of guys that have been in over the course of this week that would come in and be those guys that come in and start. Like,
When
you're talking about wide receiver, okay, I see your point. Like, this is a guy who hasn't played that much, but then there's guys that we're bringing in, a.k.a. Matthew Lee, Rondell Boothroyd, Devon Sears, Walter Rouse. Like, those guys could come in and start.
I agree on that.
So I agree with what you're saying in terms of, like, wide receiver. You don't know. They're not going to come and be the next Jerry Rice. But if you could have a lot of guys compete for one of those, like, second-string spots, it just brings more competition. You don't turn that down.
Hey, Hunter Jackson, what are your thoughts on this as far as Mims announced yesterday?
Yeah.
And we all said that he was probably going pro, but do you think the whole Washington thing had anything to do with it? If Washington's leaving, he didn't want another wide receiver coach. That'd be like the third.
I mean, I think it could play a factor because, like, especially all of the guys in the wide receiver room, some of them, this will be Stoops' fourth or fifth coach. That's a lot in all the years he's been here. That's another relationship he has to build. But I mean, I'm not surprised he went pro. He's going to be He's probably going to be a second round pick. That's where I see him going. Second or third round.
Third.
He's going to be mid to late third or early fourth. I don't see him going any earlier than that. And I love Mims. It's just he did not have the best year.
Well, true. Also, if you take away the 3 drops he had, he's probably up to over 1,200 yards because those were all big.
Yeah, for sure. But for the first time in his career, he had drop problems.
Yeah.
So that is a little alarming when you look. And in my opinion, this NFL draft class is very, very deep at wide receiver compared to what it would be next year.
Next year, it's going to be deeper. You think?
Well,
I don't think so.
The only guy you have is Harrison next year.
Yeah, then really, Worthy.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Xavier Worthy, OU's maybe I don't know how much smoke there is there. I just thought it was interesting that they had a little follow and follow back thing yesterday between OU's future wide receiver coach. Don't know.
Well, and then also he kind of put out a cryptic thing on his story. So,
hey, I want to bring. Schaefer was a huge get for OU.
That'll be good depth.
He's probably going to start. He has a good chance of starting. You also have, you mentioned Lee. The difference in O-line, so that area, in my opinion. But I'm going to bring up Dylan Gabriel. We got the news. He is coming back to Norman. I know Hunter's got some things he's probably going to want to say about DG. Wide receiver, DG is not great at spreading the ball around. Showed no ability to spread the ball to multiple receivers. For me, that's a concern. Receiver.
Well, I mean, Also, we only played 5 guys really all year at wide receiver. So I don't really know how many opportunities he had to spread the ball. But Jeremy,
We're talking
you
about
are
spreading
right.
the ball around to the guys on the field. Spreading the ball around to the guys on the field, Jackson, not the guys on the bench.
Yeah.
You play 5 guys, he didn't spread it around.
Hunter,
No,
what are your thoughts?
I
on the-
was getting back to that.
You got some strong
And then I got
opinions on
interrupted.
this. Nice.
My bad. I just
Hunter. Let's hear it.
Dylan Gabriel is a total troll, and you guys know it. He knew what he was doing by dragging this out well past the bowl game into the new year to put out the graphic, staying, all this stuff. Hawaiian boy found a home in Norman, and then look at what he's doing right now on Twitter. He's acting like he's all this, posting memes, all that stuff. No, he's a total joke. This is pathetic. He knew exactly what he was doing to fans because we had flashbacks to last year when somebody by the name of Caleb Williams did the exact same thing to us. The only difference is Dylan Gabriel stayed, Caleb Williams left, but they both drug it out. They both waited till after the new year to announce what they were doing on any sort of thing, on entering the portal, on staying, going, anything like that. And Dylan Gabriel knew exactly what he was doing because many fans, I was one of them, I thought Dylan Gabriel was not going to come back, and it's going to screw us when it comes to the transfer portal, as we're not going to have the time to pick up another quarterback in the portal and be stuck with somebody else, just like Dylan Gabriel, just like last year.
Well,
he knew exactly what he was doing by dragging it out.
Now, I don't understand really why the hype, why he had to make an announcement, because I don't know what else he was going to do with his life. Now, if he was going to step away from the game of football, that's an announcement, but he doesn't need to make an announcement whether or not he's coming back or going.
He needed to make an announcement because the coaches were all, Levy was, I can't speak on Dylan's behalf, stuff like that. It was everything from the coaches made it seem like something's going up with it, with him not coming back. Because usually when you have a guy that has 2 years of eligibility, has absolutely no chance of getting drafted, it's a no-brainer that they're going to return. With Dylan Gabriel, that was not the case.
Well, and then also with him deciding to come back to Norman, I think that the ceiling of this team is 10 wins next year.
But the decision of the decision of him coming back is actually huge. And whether or not you think that Dylan Gabriel is a starter or not, it is huge because you should have a competition between Dylan Gabriel and Jackson Arnold. That is going to, 1, make Jackson Arnold better, and 2, should make Dylan Gabriel better. And your QB room is way deeper next year than it was this year. You have if Gabriel's a starter, you have Jackson Arnold as backup. That should allow Jeff Levy to use Gabriel in a QB run way different. You can run him more because, if he gets hurt, you have Jackson Arnold. You don't have, as Hunter would say, feeble beeble.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackson, on your 10 win thing, I've been a proponent and kind of a backer of Dylan Gabriel.
I have
even
too.
Though
I have too.
Listen, Jackson, I'm saying though, I think the whole thing next year revolves around OU's defense. Period. I think they can win 11, 12 games if the defense makes massive improvements.
Yeah, the defense is going. You get into a situation where you're going to outscore someone. That's going to be an issue, I think, with Gabriel. But Brody brings up the point I've been trying to really improve Gabriel coming back, and it's the QB run game. I foresee a situation next year, guys, where we play multiple quarterbacks. They have some kind of scheme for Jackson Arnold, I promise you, of him running the ball and throwing the ball. He's not just a QB run guy. So I could see that happening next year.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the QB room, I do agree that it's good that Arnold's coming in and Gabriel's coming back because just like I think it was Brody that said, it's a healthy competition in the room. And you need healthy competitions because it's going to make, 1, Gabriel elevate his game, and 2, we're going to see what Arnold's got, not being guaranteed the starting spot, too. See how he responds to some adversity, too, especially since he's going to be a true freshman. And also, if we can have him sit behind Gabriel for a year, and we've heard in 2024 that's the plan for the SEC. If you could have Arnold like ready to go in 2024 for your first year of the SEC, I think your confidence just goes up even more about what this team can be.
I wouldn't be shocked if Arnold's your guy in 2023, but who knows? You let that QB competition happen and the best player plays.
Hey, guys, what are your thoughts on we've heard the rumors about David Agwebu maybe enter the portal. Are there any guys that you think that have not hit the portal that are going to, that you see? Hunter, we'll start with you. And then Jackson, and then Jeremy.
I really think it's pretty much only going to be a Agwebu. I don't think there's going to be much more hitting the portal because right now is the time for guys to hit the portal. We're seeing it in waves constantly. I don't know if you guys follow this account on Twitter, Transfer Portal. If you turn on tweet notifications from them, it's constantly a tweet from them on such and such hitting the portal from somewhere. So I think we're really at the point of where not more are going to hit the portal. Josh Ellison finally officially hit the portal. He said he was going to back early in December. Obviously, he played in the bowl game, which was huge for us, in my opinion. I think that was a good move for both sides, really, to stick around for the bowl game. So I really think with this team, I don't see anyone else hitting the portal.
Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, Agwebu is the only guy I could really see. I mean, unless something comes up, like if one of the wide receivers isn't a fan of Emmett Jones, maybe a wide receiver could. But I mean, I don't really see anyone entering the portal now. Maybe one of the guys in the running back room could, but I doubt that too. But I think if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Agwebu.
Jeremy?
We think Traber and I have discussed this.
Jaden Davis.
Yeah, Jaden Davis, I think, is a guy that enters the portal, and here's why: secondary's loaded, guys. With the recruiting class coming in, someone is going to leave. Someone that's been there, and the obvious guy is Jaden Davis. He's not going to find a spot next year.
I won't disagree because right now you look at it, Jaden Davis is a top 4 corner on our team.
No. No.
Name 4 better corners.
But here's the deal with Jaden. Here's the deal with Jaden Davis.
It's Woody.
Okay, but can I say something real
Woody,
quick?
can I?
Here's the deal with Jaden Davis.
Jaden.
For the last 3 years, he's come out of camp as a starter, and during the
Hey,
season, he's lost his job.
I don't think he starts. I think he's like your 4th guy, unless Makari Vickers overtakes him.
Brody.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Look,
Brody.
look.
Hey,
Hey, hold on. There's 4 corners that I would take over him: Washington, Kanai, Gentry Williams, and Kendall Dolby, and possibly even Josiah Wagner. There's 5 guys.
Wagner's not playing corner. Wagner's not playing corner.
Oh,
Jeremy.
Brody, can you personally believe Jaden Davis is a top 4 corner on this team?
Right now, I personally believe that,
With
yes.
the guys coming in.
Yes. Only 2 DBs are enrolling early. Only 2 DBs are enrolling early.
Wow.
I do believe that. And unless Makari Vickers overtakes him, Jaden Davis is a top 4 corner on this team.
Hey,
now, in no way, shape, or form,
dude, Kendall Dolby is going to start day 1.
I don't know if he's playing corner, though.
He's better than Jaden Davis.
But you don't know he's playing corner. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Hunter,
You do not know he's playing corner.
With it looking like our safety room is pretty solidly set with Peyton Bowe and all that, Reggie Pearson, another guy, depth's really good there. I would be really shocked if Kendall Dolby ends up playing safety. I think he's going to play corner.
I agree, Hunter. Yeah.
I agree.
And is Jacoby Johnson not enrolling early?
No,
because
I thought he was. I thought he wasn't going to play.
It's because of hoops.
In terms of the original question, if you want to nitpick it, I could say Marcus Alexander, Shane Whittier, those are 2 guys I could see. Corey Roberson, could see him entering, but David Agwebu is really the only one that really contributed that I would look at and say, okay, he might enter the portal. Now Marcus Major's an interesting one for me. Maybe he comes back and he's the running back 3 or 4. I don't know.
Marcus Major needs to go elsewhere. You know I'm a huge fan. He needs to go somewhere where he can play. It's ridiculous. They've led him along worse than leading some dude along forever. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they let him along.
He's not good enough. He's not good enough.
I'm not going to stand that argument.
Hey, we have had a lot of running backs that went elsewhere, like recently. Abdul Adams was really
Trey
good,
Sermon.
and he went to Syracuse.
Who was the
Trey
guy-
Sermon's another one. Pledger was one too that went to Utah.
Oh, Pledger.
Yeah. Major. What about Major?
Just said he's probably
That's what.
Got to go, right?
Yeah.
got to go. Go elsewhere.
That's what I was wondering what Jackson was saying on running backs. I forgot about Major, honestly, because Jackson said running back, and I was thinking, well, who could it be, really? Because it doesn't look like anyone in that room except for Major would hit the
Well,
floor.
because in that room, you're going to have Barnes and Sawchuk, Emeka Megway, and Tawi Walker as your full four guys, and then the two freshmen.
Yeah.
You also have even.
Hey, one thing if I were a coach that bothers me is some of these guys that enter a portal. Like, I could see a guy like Major. If I was at another university and I was a coach and Major transferred, I'd be like, yeah, you really haven't got the chance. Come, you're a junior, senior. But some of these guys that leave their schools after like freshmen and just don't want the competition, I don't know if I want that guy coming to my university.
Yeah, you know what?
Unless there was a situation with coaching or whatever.
Yeah, do you want to know what? I think that's right on what I was going to say, really, because a lot of these guys that are coming in now are expecting to play, and now where they can just transfer and go wherever they want and get immediate eligibility, it's kind of weak and soft because there's so many guys that are soft and just don't care for the competition. They want to go and be this guy. They want to go get all this NIL stuff for them, and they want to go to the NFL as fast as possible. Whenever a lot of them really don't even care about football, and that's why I like whenever OU is doing the Soul program.
Yeah, hey, perfect example, though, is Max Duggan. Max Duggan could have left. There's a lot of guys that transfer, and you never see them again play because they think they can just go play somewhere, and they don't start. But Max,
That's exactly
go ahead.
That's exactly what happened to a quarterback from Sepulpa. Eli Williams was at TCU, and I know his situation was, honestly, he probably should have changed positions, no doubt. Looking at it now, he's at a JUCO in Kansas, Avila, something like that. It's like his fourth school that he's been at since 2020. Anyhow, but with going to TCU, he was promised, you're very good chance of getting to play within a couple years, and then he gets to TCU, and there's 7 scholarship quarterbacks on roster. So your chances of playing when you have guys like Max Duggan and Chandler Morris there are basically slim to none. However, his situation, and I think it's going to happen to a lot of players on that they're leaving because of stuff that didn't necessarily happen and that they were told was going to happen in the recruiting process, and then they're stuck with their only option being able to go to a JUCO.
Yeah, but that's getting ready to change with the new portal rule starting next year.
What's the new portal rule?
Where you have to sit
What are
out.
they changing?
You have to sit out.
Yeah.
You can only transfer one time. You can't transfer twice.
Yeah. Didn't they do this rule because of
Isn't
COVID?
that the new rule? You can't transfer twice.
Yeah, they did, and I don't think they'll go through with the rule. That's just me. I think they're gonna. Last year they could have fixed the portal once and for all. It was only 1 year old, really, the portal with NIL and all that, and they didn't. They're not gonna. I don't think they will.
And here's
fix it. That's just me.
Here's why they won't change it. I agree with you, Hunter. Wussification of America. Okay, this is why. There would be a lawsuit because someone's going to say, well, I should be able to leave when I want. If my coach leaves, I should be able to leave and transfer somewhere else. Out. There's no way they're going to be able to put that rule in place, guys, this day and age.
You have to have a waiver if you.
Well, the problem with that is this no sit out rule has been in place for what now? Almost 3 years?
Yep.
Close to it. It's been so long where there's so many people that are expecting it almost. where if they're told, oh, you can't transfer, it's just they're going to throw a fit till they get what they want.
Yeah. Well, I think with football, with the next week or so, we're going to have some more with the coaching change at the wide receiver position and some other guys coming in. Next week, we'll probably have more answers on what this team 129 will look like. So
When do we get an answer on wide receiver coach if something official?
I think this weekend.
I would hope pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
Let me ask you this.
all this stuff first started right after the Tech loss on a possible change, and it's drug out a month and a half now.
Hey, let me ask you this as a possibility. Is there a chance they brought Emmett Jones in this weekend, interview him, do all that stuff, and then Kelly Monday night, if they win the whole thing, Kelly has nothing left to do there. I mean, if they win in that, are they waiting to maybe interview both of them and then make a decision? I don't know.
Yeah, Venables wait.
I feel with Kelly, we were turned down. That's just me.
Yeah.
I think it would have been one of those situations that it happens all the time, especially with position coaches and coordinators, where they're going to the playoffs and they'll get a job elsewhere to where they stick it out through the playoffs and then go on to their new university. With Kelly, I think it was we were sadly turned down. Really, that's one that hurts, in my opinion, on a beloved alum that's killing it in the ranks of wide receiver coaches in the country to turn down his university. That's a tough blow, if you ask me.
Hey, but also I think that the reason he's not going to come to Norman, he's from Dallas area, okay? So he grew up there. Second of all, Riley is probably going to be the guy on that staff that takes the next position, move up or as a head coaching job, which means Malcolm Kelly is going to slide right into the offensive coordinator role.
Yeah.
So I just better chance for him to stay there, especially with his hometown being Dallas. He lives right there.
I don't know.
He's not from Dallas, Jeremy.
He's not?
He's from Longview, East Texas. That's a good ways from Dallas. I don't think Dallas is necessarily the thing holding them in there.
I don't know if Kelly turned us down. It might have been a situation where he was saying, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm focused on the college football playoff now. And now BB can maybe wait. Like, we've seen him wait with guys like Jay Valai and Todd Bates. Maybe that's a situation. I don't know. But as of right now, I would lean Emmett Jones as the wide receiver coach for next year.
You think there's any way Shane Beamer told Church to, take a real good look at Norman, Oklahoma?
Well, Bates was high on him in recruiting cycles, so I think
no, he's not coming to Norman. He's going to Oregon, and I've seen it's a situation where he already knew where he was going before he entered the transfer portal. That pretty much tells you all you need to know.
Hey, did you guys see the tweet from Brett McMurphy today?
No.
Surrounding Lincoln Riley. Garrett Riley was asked if he's giving his brother tickets, and he said he can buy them himself, basically.
I did see that.
I think that's a situation of Garrett knows how his brother is and does not trust him to be around his team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just glad USC had the most devastating loss in Lincoln Riley's career.
Oh, my gosh. Dude.
That Georgia game means nothing to him.
Nah, yeah. You know.
Marvin Harrison going to USC?
No.
I don't know.
I think he is. I saw that tweet from Jack Mack CFB, and I really think that the tweet is obvious. It means Buckeye
To USC.
NIL bag traveling to USC. So I really think the other one that made sense to me would be Henderson, but USC just brought in a 4-star running back from the portal, so I would think it's going to be a receiver.
Yeah.
And it's for sure not a defensive player because they don't care about defense there.
Yeah.
They were smart. They would bring in a defensive coordinator from Ohio State. But
hey, if you're a receiver and you're not going to the NFL draft, why wouldn't you go to USC and get paid big bucks? It's like going to the NFL but not going to the NFL.
Hopefully with Marvin Harrison Jr., though, his dad is Marvin Harrison, a great NFL
Hall of
receiver, former
Famer.
receiver.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully with that situation, his dad is able to tell him, look, it's not worth doing this. Like, you're going to get the bag in the NFL. He almost beat Georgia until he got hurt. And
kind of like Jerry
he's
Rice's
gonna be-
son,
yeah.
Well,
who transferred and got paid.
Yeah, I know that, but I honestly, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a much better receiver than, is it Brandon Rice?
Yeah.
Rice, something
It's
like
not
that.
even close, but it could be.
you
a
think
group
Rice
too.
is better?
No, I said Harrison is a much better receiver than
I
him.
thought Brody went Rice was better, but one thing about Marvin Harrison had played on one team, was probably the most loyal receiver in the history of football, and I'm sure that works down the line genetically. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, I know we're going to have to transition to basketball, guys. Regardless, we probably don't, but we're going to have to transition to the game of basketball. As on Texas Tech today on the road in Lubbock to try to stay out of the cellar and try to pull one out tonight. This is a massive game for OU as they've already lost home games, both close digits.
Tech has 2. They've lost 2 home games as well. And from watching Texas Tech, I actually think this is a winnable game. Yes, it's going to be very difficult. Yes, you're going to need guys to step up. But with the way Texas Tech plays their defense, they're going to overload. They're going to pack line. If you can get skip passes, ball reversals, and you can hit the threes, there's a big if. You're going to look for Jacob Groves. He's going to need to step up and hit threes. Tanner Groves, maybe he can step up and hit threes. Grant Sherfield, obviously, can't get 4 points from him. In that situation, I do think OU can win this game. And I would think it could be close. Texas Tech's 2 of their top 3 players are game-time decisions. One of them, star freshman Pop Isaacs. They don't know if he's going to play. So maybe something happens. It would be a huge win if you can pull it off, because next you're going to play the likely number 1 team on the road in Kansas on a Tuesday night. You're not winning that.
Right. This could be a huge win, but I see Jay's back now. And I've been highly critical of Porter.
My gosh.
I'm not the only OU fan who's been highly critical of Porter Moser. And I'm going to give you stats here. When I said yes, possibly a fluke, he had 2 great runs. Okay? There in Illinois. Loyola, Chicago. Okay? But if you look at his winning percentage at Loyola, wasn't great. He had a losing winning percentage at the school before that, which was someone in the Sun Belt Conference. I can't even remember. I looked at winning percentage. He was below 500. My point is, he has not been proven in Norman that he's done anything as far as to win close games. If you guys want to say that's a wrong statement, it's not a wrong statement. Show me what he's done in Norman in close games is all I've said. The jury is out, in my opinion, on Porter Moser still.
Well, yeah, I'll agree, but also part of the problem is they have a theme in a lot of games over the last 2 years where they've gotten up early, where they haven't really gotten down, and they've gone on these runs. They did the same thing against Texas the other day. They were up by 10-7 with I don't remember how much it was, but they were up by, do you guys know how much?
I don't have it off the top of my head,
But basically, OU went 8 minutes scoreless. Was it 8 or 10 minutes? And allowed Texas to get right back into the game. And that's the thing.
Yeah, it was 9 minutes.
5 minutes, 6 minutes of that. No timeout was called. Just let them play. Stagnant offense, nothing. And you have to call it a timeout there to try to do something. And whenever he calls timeouts, he can't draw up plays out of timeout. So we can't
they missed
help
the shots.
So we
The players missed the shots.
Can I speak for a minute?
Watch the game. Did you watch the first half of Iowa State? Wide open 3, miss. Wide open layup, miss. Is that the coach's fault?
No, but also
okay. Thank you.
Hey.
I got a question for Jackson, Jeremy, and Hunter. All 3 of y'all. And Jackson, you answer first, then Jeremy, and then Hunter. Tell me one aspect of what. Are you asleep, Jeremy?
No.
Your eyes are closed. Hey, Porter Moser, what is it that you do not like about him as far as his coaching? Tell me
I
no.
can answer for Jeremy.
I want Jeremy.
All he does is run around on the sideline. Oh, he just go.
Okay.
Too much of a show.
Will you stop with the talk?
There's nothing I don't like about his coaching. I think he's a
All right,
great
move on to the
coach.
next one. That's
Yeah,
it. That's all you got to say.
next.
Jeremy, you're up. You answered the
You answered
question.
it.
Jeremy.
He can't drop.
Hey,
Jackson, you're done.
He's
You-
muted. Go.
I'm gonna. First off, what Brody said is asinine. Of course, players should make shots and layups in the first half. I'm not critical of Porter Moser in the first half. I'm critical of his finishing games. He hasn't done it yet in Norman. Has not won close games consistently. Don't interrupt me.
Answer the
Answer the question. What do you not like about Moser?
Late game situations I don't like. He hasn't proven that he can do things in crunch time as far as making right calls, getting the right plays, getting the right players the ball to shoot the ball. Can't do it, okay? Second of all, there is part of me. Look, I've been told growing up, you've all heard the saying, that you are a reflection of your coach, okay? You're a reflection of your parent. You're a reflection of who you're around. If someone we are a bad turnover team. We have been a bad turnover team since he stepped foot on campus. Okay? We were supposed to preach. I thought he was going to preach that. He hasn't. We're more about culture. I get it. We should be. That's good culture. But the antics, the amount of, if you watch him over there hitting the clipboard, he'll throw the clipboard down. I'm asking a question here. Is there a correlation with that and the frenziness with which we handle the ball?
He dodged the question.
Hey, Jeremy.
He didn't.
Jeremy.
Time out. I did not.
Jeremy.
You dodged the
Jeremy.
question.
Hey, Hunter and Jackson, do you remember Jeremy during football season? His biggest complaint about Brent Venables? No passion on the sideline. He's not passionate over there at all. He's just standing there like this. He did the same thing with Mike McCarthy. Standing there with his hands unfolded. But now you're on Porter Moser for him being passionate and hitting a clipboard and saying that's why he's a bad coach.
You're comparing two different things, bro.
How?
You compare them.
He's leaving. That's hilarious.
He left.
What do you mean? How is it a different thing? It's a totally different thing. As far as being under control on the basketball floor and talking about a game of football, totally different situation.
You compared him because you said he hits his clipboard too much. You said you didn't like that. That's a bad coach.
I said we're a reflection of that. Yeah, we don't handle stress very well.
Oh, wow.
We don't handle stress very well as a basketball team in Norman. Do we?
No, here, look, and then also, hey.
What?
Brody, are we good with pressure situations?
Stop muting me, Brody. You're constantly doing it
Brody,
talk.
Are we better with stressful situations under Lon Kruger?
We had Buddy Hield and Trae Young. We're going to be better.
He was also a very calm guy.
Hey, Jeremy, what is your point? Oh, do you like calm guys or passionate guys? You're on both sides. I don't know. That was Jay's point.
Hey,
you're right.
I want a passionate guy at the helm. I do. But you also have to have a guy who's under control and he loses his ever-loving mind over there and people see it and his players see it and it's a reflection. I'm not saying...
Before we move on to Hunter's opinion, I got to say one thing. I sit right here on my couch on, what night was that, Wednesday or Thursday, and I watched a guy by the name of Kelvin Sampson, coach. You know what Kelvin did? Houston had a player that had 18 points in the first half, okay? Near the end of the first half, the guy makes a bonehead play, turns the ball over. Best player on the court, you know what Kelvin does? Rips his butt off the bench. Jeremy, if that had been Porter last year on Gibson, they yanked Gibson because he shot a bad shot. What's so bad about that as a coach, treating a guy like that and saying, hey, if you make a bad mistake, I'm pulling you? Why is that a bad thing?
I thought the question was, what did I not like about Porter Moser?
All you said was passion.
I don't like I didn't dance around the question. I don't like that he can't win the close games, and I don't like sometimes he's too flustered and stressed, and we're playing like it. There needs to be some calming thing over there. Maybe Doc Sadler will help him with that. But also, I'm going to read numbers real quick.
Oh, gosh.
15 and 16, 10 and 22, 15 and 17, 18 and 14, 32 and 6. There's a good one. 20 and 14, 21 and 11, and then the 26 and 5. That was his record at Loyola.
So 2 out of those 4 years, they went to the Final Four in the Elite Eight. Bad coaching. Horrible coach. Hunter,
didn't they also go to the Sweet 16?
Hunter talk. Hunter, what are your thoughts?
My problem with Porter Moser is that he could win at Loyola Chicago and he cannot win at OU.
Big 12.
He hasn't won yet.
Year.
But we're losing close games all the time. What are you talking about? I could honestly see OU going 0-18 in Big 12 play. You guys will call me crazy, but I could see it happening. I could.
That's crazy. That's absolutely blasphemous.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Hunter.
Brody.
Yes.
You've been the one that has said more than anyone else that the Big 12, every game is going to be a close game, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't won a close game in the Big 12 yet, so I could definitely see us going 0-18 in the Big 12 because so far, I hope this changes with Porter Moser. So far, he does not win the close games at OU.
Well,
I'm not sure what you're saying on you, but
hey, but at some point, the player has to make the play.
Hey, there's also a thing. Oh, there's a thing I want to say. There's this common theme with OU that drives me nuts, okay? It's that for one game, we can never get everyone on the team to be on the same page, play their role, and for everyone to make plays. It's consistently, every single night, a different guy. And there's always this one guy we need. Like versus Iowa State, it was Sherfield. We needed one basket from him in the whole second half to get in the lead several times. And what did he do? He would turn over the ball. Hey, and there was 2 times where
and you should have benched him.
No.
Hey, look, and then there was 2 times where he got trapped, and he stood in the trap, tried to step through it, and he turned over the ball. And the thing is, he has to expect the trap, so he's got to get the ball out quicker.
Hey, who was on the floor during the 20-0 run versus Iowa State?
Not Sherfield. But
exactly.
Sherfield should have been the one taking the final.
But he is the best player on the team. Hey,
he is the best player on the team, but he played horrible Wednesday night.
Yeah, but you
should not give him the ball.
The second best player on the team is Jalen Hill.
Hey, Jeremy, name the starting 5 for OU.
Why do you do this every time?
I'm asking. I can't hear you.
Jacob Groves, Tanner Groves, Grant Sherfield, Jalen Hill. Who am I missing? Uzon.
Okay. So 2 of those guys and the Groves brothers are, if you just look at the Big 12, and I'm not saying game-wise, but athletically, they're not there as opposed to some of these big guys in the Big 12. Those are your 4 and 5. Are they not your 4 and 5?
Jay, they're not the most athletic, but they almost beat Kansas at Eastern Washington. Okay, bro? I'm sick of hearing that the Tanner Groves and Jacob Groves is one of our best players against Texas, first of all.
Agree.
Okay? Tanner Groves played pretty good the other night. And, Jay, I don't want to –
inconsistency, though. They're inconsistent.
Then that's on Porter Moser. He recruited him. He hasn't gone out and got anyone else at the center or forward position.
He did. And he's out for the year. Yaya Keita, transfer from Missouri, out for the year.
He's out for the
Did
year.
you even know
There's
he's on the
nothing to do
roster?
about it.
Okay? Yeah, I do know he's on the roster. And, Jay, so tonight, I think OU can win the game too. But if they do, neither one of you guys can send a text message saying Moser got him back. Because according to Jason, it's always the players. So it's only the players. Yep. No, Moser's not. Coach out there. Doc Sadler, let him do it.
All I'm saying is you, Jeremy, this is coming from you, who
Time out.
you pull it up.
I'm out, Jay. No, I'm going to question Jay for a second. You're always on Lincoln Riley about how he blows big leads and does all this stuff. It's not him, it's the players. It's the flat out players. That's what you're
Football and basketball's
Are
different.
different.
Totally different.
football when comparing Porter Moser on the stressful situation.
That's about your passion. That's not about coaching game.
Football and basketball are different. I said that earlier and it was irrelevant. It's ridiculous.
What's your point?
Message boards, everyone is saying asking the same questions I'm asking. It's a legitimate question. Why can Porter Moser not win the big games? Why can we not draw up good plays? And why do we turn the ball over so much? That's coaching.
Okay, Jeremy. He's coached there for basically 1 year. I don't know how all these negative, yeah, I understand time will tell, but you guys are like, fire him now. And it's like he's been there a year. He got Milos Uzon recruited. I don't know how he got him to come to OU. He's a great player. He's in with 2 5-stars for next year. I mean, give the guy at least 2-3 years. I mean, I don't understand the point of what you're trying to do here.
But you got to realize who you're talking to. He wanted Levy fired too.
Hey guys, everybody listening and everybody that's on this call right now, Jeremy, you're the same guy that, I don't know, Lon Kruger, Hall of Fame coach, every game they almost lost. It's on Kruger. Kruger lets them do whatever they want. Even that Final 14, he lets Jordan Woodward shoot every time he wants. Buddy Hill can just shoot it. Isaiah Cousins can just pull it from 3. Even Spangler can just throw it from 3. He just lets them, there's no control. They can just do whatever they want. It's like, come on.
First off, don't put words in my mouth about things. And this is what you always do. You leave situations. It's unbelievable. Okay? I can criticize. I criticize Kruger some. I love Lon Kruger. Kruger was a great coach. He remained calm all the time. And I never said Porter Moser couldn't recruit, Brody. Porter Moser has got guys that are great, but Lon Kruger did get Trey Young. Porter Moser has got tons of guys. I get it. He's got a good recruiting class coming in. I never said Porter Moser couldn't recruit. If you guys would open up your ears.
Well, you
said he can't coach.
You said he can't coach.
If you think he's good in late situations, you're kidding yourself.
I wouldn't say he's bad in late situations.
They have lost 5 games. They have they have lost 5 games by 5 points or less. Getting closer to the camera does not make you louder, by the way.
Hey, I wouldn't say Moser's not bad at
all I've said is Moser, we don't know yet. Time will tell. You're saying fire him. I say we'll have to wait and see.
How big of a sample size do we need?
More than a year.
We need 2 more years.
Got a year and a half already.
It needs to be at least 3 years, in my opinion.
All I'm saying is Moser magic. Everyone said Moser magic. He's great. He hasn't been great here.
He's been good with what he's had.
I think if OU were to make the tournament, he's the type of guy that can make a run because he seems to do that. But the regular season, he's awful in.
The Big 12 is impossible. It's so hard.
But wouldn't you want the guy who can make a run at a national championship?
If he can get us to the tournament, but we can't win close games right now.
You're in the Big 12. Guess what? Next year, or the year when we go to the SEC,
totally different.
You would be a top 5 team in the SEC right now.
The SEC.
It's good.
SEC has like 4 good teams. OU would be in the top 5 of the SEC. Right now, this OU team would be predicted to win about 25 other conferences.
Hey, what's your prediction? Let's do it right now. What's your prediction on OU's final record in conference?
6-12.
Hunter?
0-18.
Jackson?
I'll go 9-9.
Wait, you're saying 9-9 when you just were on the Moser thing earlier saying the same. Are we riding the fence here?
What? What do you mean?
You were agreeing with Jeremy about Moser.
What?
Jackson didn't bash Moser.
I thought he
said
Moser.
No,
how bad he is.
Look. No, the only critique I have of him, I said, is he can't call plays out of timeouts. That's the only thing I said about his critique. I think we're going to find a way to win close games, and guys are going to have to start stepping up and hitting the big shot. They're going to have to find a way eventually. They can't just keep on losing these close games.
All I'm saying is you take away Groves jumping at a guy for a three-pointer and Bijan Cortez throwing it into a 3-guy being triple teamed. This team could be 2-0 right now.
Okay, but Jay, Porter Moser said Bijan Cortez it was not his fault. He said
It
that.
wasn't.
Whose fault was
Yeah.
it?
Hill.
He said it was a tough situation. We had no timeouts. Sometimes Jalen comes up with that catch. They couldn't get Sherfield where they wanted him. He basically said Cortez was not to blame, bud. So watch the post game and understand that Moses is taking some of the blame.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
It wasn't Cortez's fault.
Jeremy, if you hate
You're
him
right.
so much, why do you watch the post games? If
First
you hate him so much.
I'm a fan, and I never said I hated Porter Moser. I actually like the guy.
Okay.
And I wish he would settle the sidelines a little bit. Jay.
Hill,
All right.
7-8 wins.
Jay, name the last NCAA tournament coach who acted ridiculous on the sidelines. Name it.
Kelvin Sampson, 2 years ago in Houston.
Hey, here.
National.
Okay.
You said Final Four.
I said national champion. Bill Self? Oh, wait. He's pretty calm down there.
Self loses his mind sometimes.
Hey, Self cheats too. Self cheats and doesn't get in trouble.
Chris Beard?
He's not even.
He's not a coach.
They were in the final game with him.
Chris Beard loses his mind in multiple situations.
Oh my.
What?
We know Chris Beard isn't calm. Come on.
And they were in the final game.
They didn't win it, did they?
Oh, they lost on the buzzer. Oh, my God. That's a dumb comment. Wow.
Jeremy, okay.
Wow. You know what OU needs? OU needs to go get a guy like Jay Wright, get his hair slicked back, and just stand on the sideline.
He won like.
No, here's
I
what
just
they need to do.
$1,000 off of that game.
Guys, here's what they need to do. Jeremy, give them your phone number. You go and coach them for a week, and let's see how they do.
Guys,
Yeah, I know the reason Jeremy was mad at Sherfield.
No.
Because he prize picked them. That's the reason. Like if you want to realize why, and your text, Jeremy's texting Sherfield's so bad. Oh, Sherfield, it's because he prize picked them. That's why.
Sherfield was awful. You guys talked him up how great he was. He was horrible.
22.
He is great.
21, 23, and 4. Is that a bad player?
2 in the BBALL game. None in the second half against Texas.
He had 22.
Against Texas?
Yeah, 22 points.
18 in the first half.
He scored 22 points.
He lost both games are on him, guys. I thought he was going to be a guy at the end of the game. So he does. Shot clock running down. He could be the guy.
No. Can you move over so we can see the picture of Emoji Gibson behind you?
It's not behind me.
Wait.
But that hasn't been the guys there.
Hey, that game with Tech though, national championship, almost won $1,000 off that game if Tech would have took the layup to win it in regulation. I would have predicted the score. I had it. And they shot the 3 instead.
So Hunter for sure picks a loss tonight. Jackson, are you predicting OU win or lose tonight?
I'm predicting a loss.
Jeremy?
I'm predicting a win. I always predict wins, but
oh my God.
Hey, what? I know Brody's going to predict a win. We had the conversation. Brody and Jay both were like, yeah, against Iowa State. It's just hopefully we can pull one out. Hopefully there's just some way, it'll be surprising but shocking, but hopefully we do. And I'm like, on the texter, and I said, I expect us to beat the Iowa States of the world at home. And I actually expect OU to not be 0-3 because they rarely start 0-3. Sherfield's going to have a bounce-back game. Tanner Groves is finally going to knock some threes down. But the other thing that I didn't want to get too much into basketball, but you cannot screen for Grant Sherfield all game, okay? I do know basketball, and I know you can't do that all game.
Yep. Also,
especially when you have Tanner Groves who can't hit threes, and it's just a liability because they'll double every single time.
Coaching.
Speaking of home court games, too, let's talk about the absolute atrocious home court advantage we have. The worst in the Big 12. So some of the worst in all of the country. It's about as bad as Tulsa's, guys.
Were you at the
It's
game on
awful.
Wednesday?
We had 2,500 fans or 3,000 for number 25 Iowa State in the country.
Were you-
Is that not terrible?
Jackson, were you at the game on Wednesday?
No, but there was no
Oh,
fans.
he's tall. He's not going to drive 2 hours for a game.
Okay. Oh, I don't
Stop.
care.
That's a dumb
If you
comment.
weren't,
Brody,
Hey.
just admit the fact.
That's a
that
dumb
the
comment.
I
Bucks
do
are
think
fan
about it. You're not going to
Brody.
catch me complaining
Just
about it.
admit the fact.
Huh?
Dude, all you think about in your head, Brody, is Sherfield. That's all you think
Hey,
about.
listen, it's been proven. OU, I think OU might win tonight too because they are a better road team. They play better on the road than
We
they do
haven't
at
played a
Lloyd
road
Noble.
game all year. You don't know that.
Yeah, in Moser's time, they play better on the road. They don't play very good at home.
He's only been here a year, Jay. That's what you said.
That is what you said.
I can take facts.
You said we can't talk about this late game thing because the sample size isn't big.
Oh, stop. That's a dumb thing.
Talk about how we can win on the road. That's oh my.
Hey, Jackson, I have a question for you. You said for your season predictions 9-9 in Big 12 play for OU, and you predicted a loss tonight. So you think OU is going to start 0-4 in Big 12 play and then finish off 9-5 after an 0-4 start?
I said 9-9.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're losing to Kansas. So that's the fourth loss, according to you, fourth straight.
Hey,
so go
I think
0-4 to
they're gonna
9-5.
find a way to win against Kansas. That's what
We
I think
haven't
is
beat
gonna happen.
Kansas at Kansas in how long has it been? I think it's been over 15 years.
Hey, Jackson, to
Yeah.
get to 9-9, this team's going to have to win 2 road games and win every home game.
That's
So what are they going to win? What road games?
OSU.
They're gonna win. Yeah, OSU, West Virginia, and then I would think they would probably win at like TCU or
So
something.
then you
like
have
that.
to beat Kansas and Texas Tech, all these teams at home too.
Baylor.
K-State, Baylor, all of them.
It's going to be tough, but I think there's a way that they can do it.
Nobody
Now, they're
asked,
gonna have to
nobody
win
asked
3 or 4
for
games
England,
on
but
the
I'm going
road.
to say 7-11. And I think they'll be right on the verge of getting to the tourney again, just like last year.
Brody, what's your record?
8 wins.
8-10.
All right, so we've talked a lot about OU basketball, and before we close this out, Monday night national championship, Georgia TCU. Who do you guys got?
Jeremy, you go first because we all know who you're going to pick.
I'm gonna go first. The Georgia Bulldogs. 32.
Jay, yeah, Jackson, you know who I'm picking. Yeah, you go ahead. And I think I'm not going to be the only one. I don't know this if Miller's playing, but I don't think it's going to matter.
50-50 chance, according to the latest report.
Who's going to hang 40 on the Bulldogs, and they're going to win 40-24.
You know, I have the Horned Frogs coming out on top too.
What's your score?
I got 38-31 TCU.
Hunter?
So, the most unlucky person in the world, Frank the Tank Fleming from Barstool, picked Georgia to be up by 40 in the second quarter. In the second quarter, that's what he said. He says that Michigan blew the chance of having a good national championship game by choking and losing to TCU, so that TCU is going to be down by 40 to Georgia. That is crazy, first of all. Frank is crazy. Anyhow, no, it's TCU's winning the national championship 100% because anything Frank says, the opposite happens. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like, it's the opposite's going to happen when it's not his team. So I'm going TCU, winning another close game. They always find a way to get it done, and they're going to be the first Big 12 team to win a national championship in the CFP era.
I'm going to say TCU as well. I just think it's that Cinderella team. Like every once in a while you get a team like this that they kind of – the regular season, they don't look that good in games, and they win, and they just keep winning. And I kind of, wow. What are you looking at, Jeremy?
They don't.
Wait, so this year's a fluke
Jeremy,
for
what do you have to
TCU?
say?
You're cutting out.
You said don't look good in games.
They trailed at like 5 games in a row. They trailed in the third quarter.
All right, but
I wouldn't describe it as they didn't look good. They still won. And
They
from what
did.
I saw all year from TCU is that they're a pretty good football team.
Go look
Really
at
good
the games, though. They trailed in a lot of games.
Yeah, I know they did.
Okay.
And they also, I mean, they beat us by what? They were up by what? 17 in the first quarter against
How
us.
about the game
Beat
where
us
they
by 30.
the game where they ran the kicker on the field with no time left and miraculously made it?
That's what good teams do.
That's what
Good teams pull through and stuff like that.
Thank you for clarifying my point as I move on. That's what I'm saying is that they've won these games. They've won these games. They keep winning these games.
Same.
No, because you did not. You called them a Cinderella team.
They are.
Cinderella.
I wouldn't call it a Cinderella team.
How many of you had TCU in the rank in the first of the year?
It's a
How many of you, 2, 3 right here, how many of you had him ranked in the top 25? Answer me right now. No?
No,
That's the point, Jeremy. That is the point. That's what a Cinderella is.
Okay, Jay, in March Madness, Jason, in March Madness, is a Cinderella ever a 1 seed?
TCU was the number 3 seed in the playoffs.
They're a 1 seed.
Yeah, but they were a Cinderella team coming into the year.
Well, but they proved throughout the year they're not Cinderella.
Yeah, you're talking about the Baylor game, Jay. A rivalry game on the road. Really good football teams win that game, and that's what TCU did.
They did.
That whole scenario, I said it when it happened, that's one of the most impressive finishes I've ever seen from a team. To be able to get the kicker on field with no timeouts and make it is insane. That's what really good football teams do. That's why TCU is going to win the national championship.
I do think they're going to win. My score, I'm going to go with TCU 34, Georgia 31. Another field goal.
34-31. Bulldogs. I don't think TCU can pull this out against a very experienced team. But we'll see Monday night. I think this hour and 6 minutes pretty much wraps up everything we had to hit on in this podcast. Again, make sure you leave a review. Follow us on Twitter, The Sooner Surge. Follow us on Instagram, The Sooner Surge. And yeah, thank you all for listening. That's going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Boomer.
Sooner.
Boomer.